So I grew up with the lowriders and the cholos, and I saw that culture and what that was like. But yet, even though I was surrounded by all this culture, I grew up watching Dukes of Hazzard. I watched the Von Erichs, and I wanted to be a Bo Duke so bad. That was tough being a little Hispanic boy growing up in Little Mexico wanting to be Bo Duke. I remember hearing rock and roll for the first time. In our household, we didn't listen to rock and roll. If it wasn't Jimmy Swaggart, then it was Elvis Presley, or it was Fat Domino. Getting to get a taste of the outside world and that culture, it allowed me to kind of really express my personality through music and fashion and art. You know, when you're 12, 13, 14, you think you have stress, you have no idea what stress is. But the stress of being a teenager, right? And sketching and drafting was my escape. The excitement of starting from your first pencil stroke to the very end product, and to sit back and to look at what it is that you created, that to me was like euphoric. Yeah, there's no words for that feeling, and that sense of accomplishment that you were able to create something. That was the very first time I actually felt that feeling of the creativity and the sense of accomplishing something. So for that, I'm thankful for. So I went from really being passionate about and studious about a certain skill set to completely leaving that and go in a completely different direction. I got married at the age of 16. By the time I was 19, I had 3 children. I was going from job to job, having an issue with authority, and it was really weighing hard on my parents. I would have to move back in with my entire family for 6 months and then try to get on my feet financially just to move back out, just to come back. And I remember I was 21, and my dad said, "Son, I'm sick of your stuff. Don't start a project and then leave it halfway and go to the next project. You need to learn how to complete things. So I think you should go to barber school." And I was like, "What, me go to barber school?" He said, "Yeah." He's like, "Think about it." He's like, "Maybe one day you could have your own business, maybe a family business." He was like, "I think you would be a great barber." And I said to myself, "Dad, I don't know anything about business." And he said, "Well, if you go to barber school, I'll pay for your schooling." And I then said to myself, "Well, Dad, I've never listened to you a day of my life, so I'm gonna listen to you today." And I did. The first 3 months, I just swept and swept. And after 3 months, my number was called. And I remember I grabbed the clippers, I put the guard on, and I took that first stroke. I went way too high. And I knew from that moment that I had messed up. I wanted to drop my clippers and run out the door, but my legs wouldn't move. And it was the first time in my life that I said to myself, "You're gonna complete this." That moment on, I said, "I'm not gonna quit this. I'm gonna move forward and try to be the best barber that I can possibly be." I've been in this industry now, this past December, 20 years, 2 decades, the longest job I've ever had in my life. When my dad mentioned that this could possibly be a family business, he was so right. I couldn't see that vision at that time. And now we have 2 locations, working on our 3rd. My son runs our Harley-Davidson location, and he's doing an outstanding job. My dad gave me my first loan for my first barbershop. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be where I'm at. So don't allow fear to define you, because once you're able to defeat fear, you're unstoppable. You just have to tap into your greatness.